we got a new addition here in the fish room. One that I'm really excited about. One, it's a fish that actually I almost kept solely in the 75-gallon. That's right, guys. When I first set up my 75-gallon, I had a plan. I knew exactly what fish I was going to keep in there. And then things changed. Went a different route with it. But I had an opportunity to buy a juvenile of this fish for an excellent price from a local breeder, actually. And I had to take it. I had to take it and you know, go from there. So a lot of you are familiar with this fish, but we'll flip the camera around and give you an update. So I know I said that the goldfish were Tucker's favorite fish, but this new guy is Tucker's new favorite fish. This is my new Flowerhorn. Now I gotta remember, I think he's like a super red pearl Flowerhorn that the guy called him. I don't know for sure 100%, but all I do know is that this is my Flowerhorn. So you're gonna see some of his colors coming in really nicely on the sides. He is missing some. He took a bit of a tumble out of the tank before I had a glass lid. That's all right. But guys, my wife, she's hilarious. You see his dorsal fin? So she comes in when I first got him. She's like, "Oh, he looks like one of those Roman soldiers. Can we name him Sparta?" Sure, why not? So guys, this is Sparta. So I say I bought him probably about 2 inches. He was a really small Flowerhorn. I've had him for about a month now. I let him kind of get used to the tank before I put him on video. And he's starting to just ever so slightly get his nubile hump. Guys, he is a lot of fun. He's very active. He really likes to greet you in person. People aren't lying. These are extremely personable fish. So what I have him in right now, back up a little bit, I have him in a 20 long. The reason being, well, there's a couple reasons. One, I felt that it maximized the area for him to swim. It added some length to the tank. You know, it's 30 inches long. It's not very high, but he likes to swim back and forth in the tank. And as a young juvenile Flowerhorn, I thought it'd be perfect to give him some active area. I did paint the back black. I was kind of trying out some new things. And the difference on this one is I spray painted the back of this. I know I have a video that came out where I used a roller. I actually prefer the spray paint. It came out a lot cleaner. So I've got a 75 watt heater in there, again controlled by the Phoenix external controller. I'm very pleased with that. And this is a simple glass lid up here. And this is run by 2 sponge filters off of my air system. So I started with 1 sponge, and this is from Swiss Tropicals, their air sponge. This is a very coarse material. I really like these. I'm very pleased with these. But I noticed that, as you can see, Sparta is an extremely messy eater. And I had a lot of small debris that was still maintaining in the water column without sinking. So I decided to add a medium Hikari sponge filter that's much more fine, and I noticed a difference. It's helped pull out a lot of the finer particles in that. But let me back up even more here, kind of show you what I'm dealing with. So I decided to try and maximize some space. You're familiar with my goldfish tank, or the internal Goby filter tank that we've done numerous videos on and talked about. And I decided to put Sparta right underneath that. So what I did is I just kind of continued my cinder block stand. The only thing I wish I had done is because what I had to do is I actually had to drain the goldfish tank, move that off, move all the cinder blocks, put some 2x4 down, put the new 20 long on, and build everything back up. I wish that I had added 1 more cinder block between these, so I have 3 on each side. The reason being is to get in here and do some maintenance is a nightmare. I mean, that's all the room I have. I can't even open the glass lid all the way. That's it. So to do water changes in this became pretty difficult, but we found a way, and I'll show you that right now. All right, so as I said, to do some water changes and to siphon the bottom of the 20 long that we have our Flowerhorn in, Sparta, I had to get creative. Now, I've seen this done in a few different projects, but it sparked the idea. This is why I like watching other YouTube channels. As you get ideas, you can adapt them to your need. I needed something to clean the 20 long with. So I went to my local fish store, and fortunately they had what I was looking for. You may be able to find this at like Home Depot, Lowe's, local hardware store, or even online, but I got lucky. I was able to find some rigid tubing. This isn't full acrylic, it's more of a plastic based, but they had this for me, and it worked out fantastic. So this is a 3/8 inch thin wall plastic tubing. It's a rigid tubing, a little bit of bend, but it's rigid tubing. What that allowed me to do is I had some extra plastic tubing, flexible tubing left over. This came off of one of the siphons you buy at the store, you buy at PetSmart. I popped the end off, and that gave me my idea. That 3/8 fit perfectly into the flex tubing. Rigid tubing went into the flex tubing. You can see the union I have here. I just heated the end up with the flex tubing up and just shoved in the rigid. So now I have my own little cleaning wand. That allows me to, because this is rigid and I don't have a lot of room, I can put my hand underneath the tanks and siphon out the bottom of the tanks. It works wonderfully. So I think the first place I actually got this idea was before I even started watching Aquarium Co-op on YouTube. He went and did a video with Dean. And Dean, I believe, is the one that uses this to siphon up the bottom of his breeder tanks. It works really well. Now, because the tank isn't as high, I don't get the fastest siphon in the world, so it does take me a little longer to do a water change on that tank. But I found a way to clean the bottom of that tank. So let's get into what I feed Sparta here. And probably get him to eat here. He's pretty funny when he sees his bag of food. Yeah, there he goes. He does this little dance. He wiggles right around to the front of the tank begging for food. So guys, here's how crazy I am. Yeah, I bought a bunch of different things to try and feed him. He will take some floating pellets. So I do like the omnivore pellet mix from Aquarium Co-op. He has taken a few of the sinking carnivore pellets. What else we got in here? I bought the Fluval bug mice to try on him. Yeah, it didn't go too well. I mean, I spent some money on some Cichlid Gold floating pellets. Didn't like those too well. But between these two floating pellets, he will eat them, so I try and supplement his diet with that just to keep him healthy. But the number one food that he will take right now is the Hikari Cichlid Gold. So it's the sinking Cichlid Gold, and right now he's getting the mini pellet size. It's big enough that it takes him a minute to chomp on it, but it's small enough that he can properly eat it. So I've noticed that he prefers a sinking type pellet. And let's see if I can do this one-handed and feed him. Sorry for the interruption. I actually had to break out my tripod. I couldn't get the lid, hold the camera, and feed the food. But you can see he knows it's coming. He's a beggar. God, he's a beggar. So I don't do large feedings with him. I do enough that I can know he'll eat it. So here we go. We can drop some pellets in. You can see he comes right up to the top of the aquarium, just begging for food. See, as the cichlids fall, he's a monster. He loves chewing them. Okay, get a little closer. Yeah. So that's what Sparta does. That's why I found out he really likes the sinking pellets, is that he can take his time to chew them. Every fish has a different personality, and this fish has a personality of screw you and screw your floating pellets. I'm eating sinking pellets. So like I did say though, I will supplement him every so often with the two floating pellets I have, and he will eat them. He takes a little longer to eat them, but I think one reason why he does not like the floating pellets is because of the sponge filters. The pellets get pushed around more, and it's harder for him to get them. But with the sinking pellets, he just takes his glorious time and just enjoys himself. So guys, thank you for coming along. That is Sparta, my new Flowerhorn in the fish room. And like I say, this 75 right there, man, it's so hard to point on camera. That 75 behind me, my 75 with the sump, I was going to exclusively keep a Flowerhorn in that tank. I wanted a large Flowerhorn. I was going to pay the money for one and exclusively keep a Flowerhorn in that. And then as you can see, things drastically changed. So we got Sparta now. Still a juvenile. He's going to be fine on that 20 long for quite some time. We do have some future plans for him. So if you're interested to see where that goes or different ideas we have here at Wel-Don Aquatics, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Thank you again for joining me, guys. I'm Trent Wel-Don with Wel-Don Aquatics. We'll talk to you guys next time.